Everyone, it's come to my attention that you need some clarification on a couple things. First is where you submit your work each session, and the second thing is I need to give you a little bit of information about how I'm grading. On the how I'm grading, I'm not going into details for each assignment, but I'm explaining kind of when I'm grading and where. I made a grading key here. So we've got CDDB, CDDBX, GC, Your Wiki, Your Blog, and Survey. These are places where you submit work in this class. And I know that it seems confusing, but I think it will come clear by the beginning of session 3 for most people as we get into a rhythm. Because in the first session, we're doing one thing. In the second session, we're doing another thing. But then by the third session, you're going to start seeing a pattern. So I would like to talk about that pattern and show you how I've added to the course plan not only this key, but next to every assignment I've explained what it is, or where it is rather, that you submit everything. So let's look at session 1. In session 1, you did the session 1 discussion and you were to put it in the coursed in discussion board. And that will be the only coursed in discussion board we do this semester, other than the course questions and answers board that goes across the whole semester and is not for credit. Also in session 1, you created a blog, and I wanted you to input it into this survey, and that survey was provided at the end of the instructions, which if you click this link, that takes you to the instructions. At the end of it, it gave you a blog link survey, which is also linked here for your handy use. For the wiki creation and setup, you created a wiki that you're going to be using to post various assignments this semester, and at the end of those instructions, I said, send me the link to this other survey. So this is a different survey. I've also linked it here. And for the session 1 takeaways, I told you if you click on this, it'll tell you the same thing. It'll give you the instructions that you that you put those on your wiki. At the end of every session, you jot down a few takeaways. You put those on your wiki in a sort of semi-organized fashion, maybe giving it a heading of session 1, session 2, session 3. So let's take these one at a time now. Okay, we're not going to see another discussion board post, so we don't need to talk about those. Let's talk about the blogging. For the first post, I'm taking what you did in the survey, and if you posted anything, you're getting credit. Okay, and you also might get some qualitative feedback. You know, like where I'm kind of telling you to do this and do that and do the other, or I'll give feedback to you guys as a group. I'm going through those as we speak. So I will grade that. I'm basically creating a gradebook column. If you did it, you get the points. If you didn't do it, you don't get the points. But if you and I'll send you guys a message. You'll have the grades in there very soon, and I'll let you know if I don't have your link. You need to get me your link, submit it to the survey immediately, and everything will be fine. And as soon as you can. Wiki creation and setup. It's the same thing. If you did it and you did it completely, you get the points. If you didn't, you get a 0. I'll be sending feedback to the people that got a 0. I'll be telling them what they need to do to fix it. And then you'll want to fix it and get it turned in, and we'll get that off our plates. So I will grade this and this wiki, so the blog post and the wiki creation, using the survey. It's a completion grade, and I'll let you know. You'll know soon what your grades are, and I'll announce it, and I'll let you know what you need to do to fix it if there's a problem. All right. Session 1 takeaways. Again, you put those on your wiki on an ongoing basis, but I don't need you to submit it anywhere else at this point. You just hang on to it on your wiki, okay? All right, so now let's talk about, so session 1 is a little weird, but then in session 2 we start a familiar pattern, somewhat familiar pattern. For one thing, you're blogging and you're putting it on your blog, but you're not submitting. You're not going to turn this into a Dropbox or a discussion board or anywhere else. Just put it on your blog, and I will know how to find it because you've given me your blog link already. So that's what I'll do. And I'm going to be providing everybody's blog links to the whole class by the end of session 2 so that you all can navigate one another's blog posts and see them a little bit easier than you could through, say, the Google community. That's one way you'll be able to see blog posts, but I'm also going to provide sort of a spreadsheet with all of the blog posts, blog links on it. All right, so takeaways, same thing. On your wiki, just leave it, put them there and leave them there. Session 2, blog buddies. What the heck is that? Well, if you click this link, it'll tell you what the heck that is. And where do you submit it? By the end of session 2, you want to submit it onto the Google community. I think if you go to Blog Buddies and you read the instructions, and maybe I shouldn't wait for it to appear because we're having a really laggy day here on campus. I'm pretty sure that I wrote on there, oh, it came up, that if you need an extra week, no, I didn't write that. All right, I'm going to tell you this right now, and then I'm going to write it. Actually, I'm going to write it, and then I'm going to tell you. All right, so I went ahead and added a note to all of these, even though the instructions, the detailed instructions for session 3 through 6 are not up at the moment. What I did write was a note that I think I put into our class calendar. Basically, the message is this. Let me go back to the course plan and make this point. In session 3, for example, you might be assigned to look at Anita's blog, read it, and promote it on the Google community. Well, what if Anita waits till Sunday, February 16th at midnight to actually post her blog? Well, you don't need to worry about whether she's posting it late. Just come in within the next week, even to 10 days, and just promote it at that point. It might be nice if you guys communicate to each other. You can certainly use Google to communicate to one another, have a little pact that you'll let each other know when your blog is up. You know, y'all can manage that how you want to, or you can just wait until the end of the session to see if the blog is up and then take it from there. That's probably the easiest thing. Just click on the link that I provide and just check on it periodically. And you get a week to 10 days. I didn't write that, but I said it. Up to a week to 10 days after they've made their post to promote it on the Google community. So it's not totally urgent. And I just thought that would be easier to do it that way, to let you guys just kind of I thought that I had to decide, do I make the blogs due sooner in the module so that the blogging buddies can go in there? And either way we do it, it's not going to be perfect in terms of timing, because there's always folks that are late, and then there's always folks that are early, and there's a little strife there. There's conflict. I mean, that's what happens when you're in an online class that you take with other people, or actually any class for that matter, where you're taking a class at the same time, there's deadlines and all that kind of stuff. There's always going to be conflict between the different types of students. So, all right, so I think I've explained that sufficiently. Now, where was I? So blog post 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 all go on your blog, and then you actually submit blog posts 2 through 6 through the CourseDen Dropbox. In the instructions associated with blog posts 2 through 6, it'll tell you to go ahead and link them on your wiki page. There's a wiki page for your blog. You're going to link them there, and that's how you're going to submit to the Dropbox. So your wiki is your portfolio for all of your work. Your wiki is sort of the master of all of your work in a way. It's the thing that you can take away from this class and revisit to kind of, it's a place where all of your work is held together. All right, so let's look at Blog Buddies. So from sessions 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, for all of those, you're going to post to the Google community first, following the instructions that are linked here and here. They all go to the same Blog Buddies page, by the way, and here it'll tell you for each session what you do, and it's going to be the same thing pretty much every time. And then, to wrap this up, because you've got a Dropbox here, you're going to be submitting Blog Buddies at the end of session 6. You want to also go link to all of your Blog Buddies posts, the ones you made on the Google community. You're going to put those on your wiki, and you're going to submit that to the Dropbox. Same thing for your session 6 takeaways. So for all of the takeaways that you've done, and I think I'm going to add a note here to clarify that too. Okay, so I went ahead and added a clarifying note at the end of session 6 because I can see how it's not completely clear. You might not know, you might not remember that when the session 6 blog post comes due that you're submitting all of your blogs. And so I made a note. See how these have asterisks next to them? All of these things, these 3 things, are ongoing projects. They all end here, so the 3 Dropboxes associated with them are due here. And so I put the names of those 3 Dropboxes. And if you're wondering, okay, like for example, blog post session 2 through 6, that's what this is. This is a blog post. And so you're going to go into the list of Dropboxes, or you can go into the session. The session 6 will also have the links to these Dropboxes, or you can go straight to Dropboxes. And then you want to find the blog post session 2 through 6. That's where you'll submit those per the directions. Blog Buddies, session 2 through 6, that's where you submit those, and session takeaways. Okay? So that's when all of that comes due. If you're confused, if there's an issue, let me know. Be a squeaky wheel. Sometimes I'm not always the best at answering the phone, but you'll get to me. You'll get through to me, and just, if nothing else, we'll figure it out a few days after the deadline if need be. But I think that it probably makes sense, and you're going to really want to have those drop boxes submitted, and I think you're going to understand what you need to do, but let me know if you don't. All right, what else do we need to talk about? Okay, so I've talked about blog posts, blog buddies, and takeaways, these sort of ongoing things that go in all these multiple places. But then also peppered throughout the semester, we have some projects like ethics project, philosophy of education project, hot topics in education assignment. At the end of the semester, we have the field experience log and reflection, and the final portfolio. And these all have they're all tied to Dropboxes. So that's where you ultimately submit those. And so you want to check out the instructions that are inside of there. For example, it's going to end up in the Dropbox, but along the way, where does it go? Well, you have to look at the instructions to find that out. So as an example, I clicked on the ethics project, and at the very bottom, step 3, submit assignment. Step 1 of the submitting piece is that, you've saved in a Word document, you've typed them directly on your wiki page, or you've completed this assignment on your blog. Any of those is great, but step 2 says I want everybody's assignment accessible through their ethics wiki page. So that means if you typed it directly onto the wiki page, then you're finished with this step. If you typed it into a Word document, then you're going to use the file upload process to place the Word document on your wiki page. So you're going to basically load it on your wiki page as a file upload onto your page. If you created a blog post, you will use the linking process to link to your outside blog post. So one way or the other, you're going to get your work onto that ethics wiki page. Then you're going to submit the link to that wiki page to the Dropbox. Because remember, the wiki is a portfolio. So it's the one thing where all of your stuff is housed. And the reason this is important for me is because if I were to have you put everything across CourseDen, that's great. It's an orderly way to do it. But the problem is, as my online students, I don't always have a good sense of your work across the whole semester. But if I look at your wiki, I'm able to quickly click through and review what you've done, what your major is, how you feel about things, what's your philosophy of education, combined with all of these other projects we do. And I get a sense for you as a whole person and not a person chopped up across Dropboxes and discussion boards. So it's a good way not only for me to keep you whole in my mind, it's also a good way for you to keep your work this semester whole once you're gone from the class. So it's a little bit, your experience of it, at least here in the beginning, I think is fragmentary, and you're probably a little insecure, not sure where things go, but it does come together, and I do believe that you start to see the pattern of how you submit work. Please let me know if you still have any questions about this. Thank you.